Hi, I'm Eleni, and I'm going to talk about a topic that is very important in today's world, but very few people talk about it. It's the generation's values gap. It doesn't mean that each generation is very far apart in what they value, yet there are some very specific roles that feel different in each generation. For this triad, I'm going to put together the Gen X and the baby boomers, and anyone else who feels a certain way. And then in this triad, I'm going to represent the millennials or anyone else who feels this way. So it's not always generational. Like I'm in this generation, but I kind of have shifted to that. So it depends on the person. But let's talk about it in groups of people because I've been seeing this trend for numerous years now. So what happens? So this is a generation, a group set that feels like, you have to sacrifice. Work is more important than life. You only play after work is done. The fact that work is never done creates a big problem, but you have to slug through it. You have to keep moving. You have to be, very loyal to the outcomes of an organization as an executive or as someone senior in an organization to deliver the profits or efficiency or whatever metrics are specific to your organizations, which tend to be efficiency and profits. And then this group is saying, okay, well, we want meaning. And when we want meaning, that means we want a life-work balance. We want to work and enjoy our work. We want our work to be worth more than just making money for some people. We want to learn a lot. We want to iterate. So they have very different views of what they want as people. So this is a triad that I've kind of compiled of a few different scenarios that I've experienced with. So basically, the triad is we have to work first comes first, I sacrificed, you should too, I know better than you, so listen to me, don't question what I tell you, I know better, especially in a stressful context. But what's happened over the decades is every minute of the day is stressful. So these tend to just really be compounded. Now, how does somebody feel when they think these things? Well, they feel stressed and pressured to create the metrics so that they wouldn't be fired, really. Pressured to deliver what the company measures, which is efficiency and profits. Anxious about getting it done because they see pushback from other people. They feel righteous. That may not exactly be a feeling, but I put that in there because amidst all these other feelings, they feel like I'm right. This is how it should be. This is how it has to be to succeed in a specific context. And they feel, this is a feeling that very few people talk about, and we might have shame about it, but there's a feeling of, if I allow things to be different, I'll be out of control. And I fear that. I feel like everything's going to collapse if I'm out of control. And I'm out of control when people don't do what I say. So it's a very tight, narrow band that this group of people is playing on in today's context, which is like the push and pull of the different generational values. So what do? Focus on outcomes and the metrics like efficiency, profits. Expect things to go as planned. So a couple of generations really depend on planning, even though, everything we do is measured by quarter or even less time than that, and planning really hasn't been working for a while. There's still a dependency on, okay, if we plan for it, we'll know what will happen, we know what we need to do to get the outcome we want, and everything will be fine if we just follow the plan. There a lot of overwork, a lot of reactive working, pushing. Like, let's push to get this through, let's push this to finish line, and there's a pushing which causes a lot of exhaustion. So this group of people is very tired, but they don't care in one sense. They don't acknowledge their fatigue or exhaustion as something that they would say, oh, I have to respond to that because otherwise I wouldn't do well. They feel like you have to just push, and that's what it takes to be successful in today's context. Then this is generally represented by millennials, people who want meaning. And to be very frank, the economy we've designed has nothing to do with meaning. It's all focused on efficiency and profits. And so it's not meaningful. So it's very difficult for millennials to find something in our economy that really sparks them, that really makes them feel engaged. There are organizations who are doing this, so it's not like, it's either or, yet most of our economy globally is around do it, more is better, efficiency, profits, stakeholder value, that's it. And now millennials come in and say, you know what? I'm not happy, but I need work too. I have debt from school. I have to, I want to be a contributor to the world, to the economy, so they get jobs. So it's not like, people are trying to not work. Of course, there are many who go into entrepreneurship, but let's focus on those who are in the corporate or organizational context. This is the inner world, okay? You may not see this. You may not ever see this because it's behind such a big facade because of the fear of being fired. So, but when you go and ask people, how do you feel working in this organization? How do you feel working in this organization? How do you feel working with them? How do you feel working with them? You start to get this inner picture. So this is an inner picture. I hear frequently, I hate fighting. It's fighting the system, fighting the rules, fighting the way we are organized. That doesn't work anymore. I'm exhausted and that matters. Like I get angry because I'm so exhausted and I have to keep pushing. My life is important. I want life meaning. I want work-life balance. I want to have children. I want to take care of them and be with them. I want something more rewarding than only work. I'm not doing something meaningful, and that drains my energy. I know I have to do it because I have debt, or I want to work, I need to work, but I realize it's a drain to go into work, to fight the system amidst not doing something that's meaningful to me. And I want a new job. So a lot of people in this group are perpetually looking for a new job, whether they look like it or not. And so there's this churning that is very expensive for an organization and for the work quality. They feel stressed and pressured as well. They feel angry that they're doing things that don't make sense to them, that they're supporting a system that's just on some metrics that don't make sense to them. They're angry that they're not heard by people in other generations, or they're not seen. They're angry that when they offer ideas, their ideas are not used. Not used, why? Because people in this section or with these triads feel out of control. So somebody else is creating ideas that are very different and would change the context that these people are used to. Their feeling of fear of feeling out of control makes them cut down these ideas, which creates anger. They also feel disgusted about the economy that's been designed, about the problems there are. They feel somehow angry and disgusted by what people in other generations have created, and then they're here as younger people having to clean up the mess or having to fight a system that's no longer working. And they fear not living up to their potential. Yes, they do fear being fired, as these people do, but it's more about, you know what, I'll just then reduce my expenses. I won't buy a house. I won't buy a car. I'll do something that I won't need to have a job if I can reach my potential. That's different. That goes against the whole economy we have designed. So our entire economy is on more, 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 more. If you go through each stage of life, you buy major purchases, which include enormous amount of continual purchases. And now they're saying, well, meaning and living my potential is more important than what I have. This goes contra to what people here think and really feel in their bones. So what do? They push, they overwork too, because they're in the system. They focus on outcomes, yet they try to improve it. They offer ideas. What are other ways of organizing? What are the other ways of ideating? What are other ways of solving problems? Yet they are often met with people with resistance. And so they're like, what can I do? What can I do? And there's a lot of frustration and even depression. And so this is really what's happening today. This is what is a symptom of our systemic change, where we have one system, the legacy industrial model, that's all about more is better, you know, creating more output to get more money, which is supposedly going to make us more safe and happy. It hasn't turned out that way because we've gone so extreme in the inequality. And this group of people is saying, you know what, I was raised in this type of organizational world and this economy, but I don't like it. I reject it. I'm disgusted by it. And that seeps out in the organizational experience, not intentionally. Both these group of people are always trying to do their best, always trying to increase the quality of work, do things better, but in very different ways, which clash. And so it is a huge opportunity to create change for an organization to be able to adapt to this new world, as well as, through an organizational culture change. So it could be very small, like these people talk to each other 5-10 minutes a day to add some ideas. Like this group could start asking this group, what are 2-3 different ways of doing what is needed? And then that ideation could help, and then people feel better because they're included, and then these people might feel less burdened that they have to, carry everything. There are a lot of ways to do it, and in this video, I just wanted to outline these. This is the inner world of what's happening in most organizational settings, whether we acknowledge it or not. When we acknowledge it, we can face it and we can make change and bridge these two groups of people to something even better than they individually had. So something better than what they individually could create. So what I'd invite you to take out from this video is question, like, which triad seems more common for you? Which is yours? Is there a variation that you would add? Maybe you could chart out your triad as to how you see your daily life at work. And you can draw your own to become more aware. And then you could just think about, from observing how people behave or how they speak, you could intuit their triads, and you could wonder then, what are they experiencing on a daily basis? And then you could ask them, and you can bridge a conversation about this. Does it make sense to them? You could even help them or give them this video. Does this mean anything to them? Does this represent them, or does this not? They could use it as a discussion tool to learn more about what's really happening in your own experience and your team's experience.